Okay. I'd like to call to order the Township Council meeting for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Under recognition and announcements, we have a couple things to do tonight. First, we're happy to announce that Team Toyota has decided to continue to be a presenting sponsor for our Park and Recreation program. Mr. Crossan, I think you'd like to embellish that a little more, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. We're so pleased that Team Toyota, represented tonight by Lisa Diskin, has been a longtime friend of Concord Township and all of our programming here prior to our establishing a sponsorship program. But since we established that last year, Lisa and Team Toyota have stepped up to be the presenting sponsor at a level of $10,000 of support to Concord Township for our robust programming efforts, which continue to expand each year, from concerts and pie baking contests to dog costume contests and movie nights. And there is so much to be proud of here in Concord Township, and these are the events that really make this community feel like a home. And we are proud that Lisa and Team Toyota have stood forward to be this presenting sponsor. And tonight we'd like to present her with a plaque in gratitude for her commitment.
All right, the second recognition or announcement is regarding, Amanda, I have an email here that we are, one of our programs is being nominated for a PRPS Award Race for the Watershed is the event. Can you maybe expand on that a little bit, please?
Sure. We are super excited to be an official award winner. With the addition of Steve, we are members of the Pennsylvania Park and Recreation Society. And Steve, if you want to come up, I don't know if you want to, I don't know if there's a mic up there. There's one over here. But if you just want to embellish a little bit, we had come up with the event for the Ducky Regatta and Race for the Watershed event that raised a lot of money for the Newland Gristmill to help with water quality. And Steve applied for an award, and we are recipients, our first one.
Thank you. So the Pennsylvania Recreation and Park Society is a state conference comprised of Parks and Recreation professionals like myself. Every year there's a conference in March, and they look for outstanding programming and special events that happen statewide. The event that we did last year, partnered with the Gristmill, raised $10,000 for water monitoring equipment, and we submitted that as an outstanding event, and it was it won the award for a best in program for the 2024 year. So we're going to be accepting that award next week at the annual conference on behalf of the township. Super proud moment for the township and for everybody involved, and we'll be having the event again this June 15th, so look for more information to come. Thanks.
Good job. Thank you. And good job to your whole committee. I know it's a team effort over there. Next is the upcoming meetings and events. On March 7th is the Park and Rec Board meeting. March 13th is the Historic Commission meeting. March 16th is CRC Annual Streams Cleanup. March 18th is the Planning Commission. In the agenda, lists the zoning hearing board meeting for March 20th, but that has been canceled since there is no application before them. March 24th is the Easter egg hunt over at the park on Bethel Road, correct? And March 26th is a council agenda meeting if and as needed. Next are our monthly reports. Public safety, Vanita.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everybody. For today's report, based on the Fire Marshal's report, we saw a rise in the non-fire incidents. There were 16 incidents that included rescue, motor vehicle crashes, and other events. The Fire Marshals reviewed open burning regulations with the homeowner, and the resident cooperated with extinguishing the fire. Garnet Valley School District has asked the Fire Marshal's Office to develop and present a training seminar for safely handling hazardous items and fire safety procedures. The training is scheduled for early March. There was an open burning incident on a non-burn day and burning of unacceptable items. Regulations were explained to the resident, but the fire department needed to extinguish the pile due to its size. Pennsylvania State Police media conducted active patrols last month of soft targets such as schools, places of worship, shopping centers, etc. And thank you, State Police. Our troopers also recently took a fraud report from a resident in Concord Township. They are investigating the report that one of the residents in Concord Township was contacted by an unknown subject via phone as someone posing as a U.S. Customs Border Patrol agent and El Paso, Texas police. The man was told there was a warrant for his arrest and was defrauded for over $18,000 after sending photos of his social security card and driver's license. So I would recommend to the township residents, please be aware of these kinds of fraudulent calls, and please report them to Pennsylvania State Police if you do receive one. Do not send any of your personal documents to unknown people. This summer, Pennsylvania State Police will also be hosting our annual Troop K Camp Cadet program, which will be for children ages 11 through 14. So please visit their website to register. That's all the report for this month, and in the interest in getting more information out there to our residents, we have Trooper Michelle Knapp, who will take it from here.
Thank you, Vanita. Trooper, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Long time no see. Happy New Year.
Is that on?
Yes,
Good,
it's
okay.
definitely on.
Thank you.
I'm loud as it is. Yes, I wanted to talk to you about the fraud that's going on. There is a lot of telephone calls and a lot of incidents being reported that people are being defrauded of money. This one was a extreme case where somebody was told they got a telephone call that it was the U.S. Border Patrol saying that some narcotics got shipped into the United States in their name and that there was a felony warrant out for their arrest. That being said, numerous times he was transferred during that call, and then he wound up given the social security card and their driver's license. Do not send any money. I don't care who it's to. Don't send any money. No Bitcoin, no Western Union, any of that kind of stuff. Just always call the state police. And always, if something's being spoken to or asked of you, tell them that you're going to call them back. Hanging up and calling them back will actually tell you if that person's legit or not. And also report these incidents. Crashes were down, DUIs were down, but traffic stops were up. We're getting numerous retail thefts in the area and the surrounding areas. So be on guard. Just try and be a good witness if you do see a retail theft. Call 911 and report license, make, model of the vehicle, as well as the description of the actor And I am the Troop K Camp Cadet Director for the Pennsylvania State Police, and I am a 501c nonprofit, so we're always looking for donations. If anybody wanted to sponsor a child this summer, we take 120 kids to the Valley Forge Military Academy, ages 11 to 14, and that's always the second week in July. Does the board have any questions for me? Troop
Is the
K,
webs-
yep, Troop K Camp Cadet. I have flyers, and I'll send you the digital brochure that was, you already have it. It was attached to that email. There's a digital brochure if you want to put that online.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, just a quick question. Over the past years, we've had bicycle patrols.
Yes.
Is that current, or is it something that happens only in the nicer weather? Or?
Nicer weather, and there has to be probably an event scheduled for that. We haven't had any bicycle troopers that were assigned to Troop K Media. The only one that I have down there right now is Trooper Tobin, but she's actually assigned to Harrisburg. So just because she works out of this office doesn't mean she's associated with the bike patrol. So, but if you did have a special need, she can actually sign up and get a couple troopers out there that are on the bicycle detail. What were you looking for in particular for any of the events that you have coming up to do a bicycle patrol?
No, I just happened to think of
Just
that now
wondering.
that we had a couple days of nice weather.
You're talking about bicycles, right?
bicycles.
Because
yeah.
we do have motorcycles, so, yes. No, but that's just only for special events usually.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
for your
Have a good
service.
night.
Open Space, Trails, and Recreation, Mr. Crossan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not too much to report this month. As we did note, Team Toyota is our presenting sponsor, but we still have additional sponsorship opportunities available for other businesses that would like to participate and receive promotion as part of our programming. With regard to Concord Township being a bird town, we also would like to extend our congratulations to Bethel, which recently became a bird town as well. And as you noted, we have our Easter egg hunt coming up in just a few weeks on Sunday, March 24th at 1 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, the 30th. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Gillespie, your report, please.
Yes, thank you. The sewer operations report. A new 8-inch potable water line was installed on the sewer plant property. It was run from Concord Road down the driveway to the main building, and a fire hydrant was located by the parking lot. This was the final stage of the water installation for this project, and we'll see later on it will be a substantial payment to the contractor for that work. And regarding Public Works, there were 2 salt plowing events in February. The equipment ran properly without any significant issues, and the staff worked long hours to keep the road safe, and the feedback was positive. And also, potholes were filled throughout the town for driver and pedestrian safety this month. And as an added attraction, it's not on the agenda, but I did attend the Boy Scout breakfast on Saturday, Troop 260, and I just wanted to make a statement that that troop was started in 1938, and to date, 110 scouts have achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, the highest award in Boy Scouting. And I know from time to time, we have different scouts here. I did talk to the scoutmaster, and I told him our Public Works Department would be glad to entertain more scouts that were looking for that award. So more to come on that.
Thank you. Building and Code Enforcement, Colleen is not here, but her report will be made part of the record. Planning Commission, Larry?
Planning Commission activities for February. Planning Commission did have both their agenda and their public meeting this month. Extra space storage, preliminary final subdivision and land development at 199 Westchester Pike and 756 Namens Creek Road was recommended for council approval. That is later in our agenda today. They also had an informational presentation that was given by Encompass Health, Concordville, and Orchard Knoll. Their schedule for this month is the agenda meeting is on March 11th and the public meeting is on March 18th. That's it for planning.
Thank you. Solicitor Tyler, you're pitch hitting tonight?
Members of the board, there is no updates from the solicitor's office this month from last month.
Thank you. Township Engineer, Mr. Klein.
Good evening. I've got several updates here, kind of as we're getting into spring. First, I just want to remind everybody, we do get a lot of different emails and calls regarding issues with PennDOT roads, pothole season, icing, things of that nature. Always take that to 1-800-FIX-ROAD. That's going to get it right to PennDOT on these state roads. If it's an emergency, you're calling 911. Sending an email to the township over the weekend isn't helping anybody. So just want to put that reminder out to the public because it just helps get it to the right person a lot quicker. Second, the Smith Ridge Road Bridge is on schedule, tentatively scheduled to reopen towards the end of April. So we'll have an update at the April meeting on that. We've been receiving multiple complaints of speeding on Cheney Road. So we've worked with PennDOT. We'll be increasing the stop sign size. We'll be installing some additional striping and reflectors, as well as some advanced warning signs for the 2 bus stops for the kids there as well. We did receive a request for a stop sign at the intersection of Smith Bridge Road with the new neighborhood, Old Quarry Knoll. It's technically in Chester Heights. The access is out on the Smith Bridge, which is a state highway, but it's in Concord Township. PennDOT will be looking to see if that warrants a stop sign for that intersection. So we'll wait and see on that one. PennDOT updated us. They will be repaving Concord Road from Aston Township line to Baltimore Pike. That's scheduled here for March into April. That will be night work. So you'll start seeing some information on that from PennDOT, and that will be done at night, so that'll be good to see. Our road program is underway, the planning process, so we will have a more formal update of the roads on that and the work entailed on that at the April meeting, and that will be awarded at the May meeting. A few more updates, 400 Smithbridge Road, an ongoing one lot being built there. We've had some ongoing E&S stormwater related issues. We had a meeting with the Conservation District and the 2 adjoining residents last week. An airing of grievances, but I think we made some progress, and I'm working with the developer on a possible resolution to a overarching stormwater issue there that I'm hopeful we'll have a positive resolution to. And then in big ARPA news, our schoolhouse project, we did get a permit from PennDOT on Friday. So we're reaching out to the contractor who we've already awarded the contract to, and we'll be getting that scheduled. It's possible we could get that scheduled before the April meeting. If we do, obviously, we'll go through the proper channels for public notice and notification on that. Last, per SEPTA's request, we did send them the files for the Octorara Trail. They are reviewing those, and we are awaiting feedback from SEPTA on that. I will hopefully have a little bit more of an update at the April meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
In advance of the State of the Union address this Thursday night, our township manager will now give you the State of the Township address, correct? And the post-game shows, I don't know what channel they'll be on, but I'm sure someone will comment on Amanda. They'll be in a rebuttal period too, but go ahead.
You have your Government Study Commission to thank for that the township manager gives the state of the township. I'm behind the scenes. I'm not supposed to be the one doing it, right? First, though, before I get into that, I just would like to bring up, so I have had a resident who lives on Scott Road stop in, give some calls, and we've heard this over the years, that there tends to be some cut-through and speeding on Scott Road. I know I've reached out to PSP before to try to do some enforcement. You sort of come off of Baltimore Pike, going however fast, and then you're coming onto Scott Road, and back there we have the trail connection between the Newland Gristmill and the Township's Trail. And there's been discussion, which I believe predates me maybe over the years, of looking at traffic calming and alternate ideas for Scott Road. I was wondering if council would authorize me having Nate sort of take a look at the dynamics a little more in detail of Scott Road and talking about what some of those alternates can be. Because I know in years past there was discussion about potential cul-de-sacing. I think the Gristmill might have talked to the township about that. There's been conversations about potential speed humps, which I know residents would be, involved in those topics as well. But I just wanted to float that across you all. I know this is something that's been talked about over the years. So instead of keep talking about it, I think maybe let's get Nate to kind of get a really good look at things and have a deeper discussion.
Personally, I see no problem in looking at it. You're right, it has been around for years, and perhaps we ought to set a goal if Nate gets us some action, maybe by summer. We could have some plans. When do we put the road program out?
So, sorry, I got off to tackle something else. So it wouldn't have anything to do with the road program?
No, I'm
Okay.
saying if we do decide to either cul-de-sac it or speed humps, we could probably piggyback that with the paving contractor for the road program.
Yeah, I think realistically, we'd have to involve the public. There's neighbors there, there's multiple property owners. We've got a PICO substation, emergency services, school district. There's a lot of moving parts there, so it's probably not a quick process, to be honest with you.
All right.
We've got liquid fuels reimbursement with PennDOT, so there's a lot of variables there that we got to talk through. But I'd like to come up with maybe, here's what could work, here's some options, here's some ideas, see what kind of feedback we get from
Maybe
the
at a
adjacent
future public
residents.
meeting,
And
kinda
maybe it's
flesh that
a
out.
5-minute thing here, and then
Is everybody on board with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's-
Scott
that's a-
Road has been an issue for many, many years, so it's good that it's surfaced again this time. I think we need to look at it a little closer and come up with a plan.
Let's get her done. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Okay, now on to what everybody has been waiting for, and I'm sure that's why everyone's here. For the Concord Township 2024 State of the Township. I think, I mean, I'll be honest, I think the short story is, you know, especially I'll say in Delaware County, I've worked in a lot of municipalities, I love them all, but it is special here. Concord Township is a fantastic place to live. As we say, community, live, work, and raise your family. A lot of the folks that own small business here also live here. A lot of people move to this area and they commute to other areas. You know, our issues, you know, at times that people tend to bring up are traffic and regionally and things like that. But there's no doubt that people want to be here. This is a very, as I say, you know, sought after zip code in Delaware County. We're doing a lot of great things. Thank you to the leadership of council. We are able to do a lot of great things. And if you're new to Concord Township or you've been here forever, you know, you may not love all of the changes and, you know, whatever, but you're still here and you know this is a great place to live in Delaware County. So I just like to point that out as I start. I'll give a couple quick facts, which I always like to do to remind folks of. You know, we have, we're 83% residentially zoned. I know a lot of people just drive the 2021, 322 sort of corridors and don't realize, you know, how much of our acreage is actually zoned residential, 83%. We have over 320 plus acres of open space, which is really important. We are the second largest landmass in Delaware County, and when you look at the counties per capita per square mile, it's close to double what we are in Concord Township. Our population as of 2020 census was 18,295. Our average tax bill for the year for township residents is $229 a year to be here for your township tax. That's extremely important to note. I would also add to that for every $100 we bring in for tax revenue, about $92 of that comes from commercial. $8 comes from residential. So I'd like to say that we have a really good mix of that commercial and residential that a lot of communities don't have and are actually struggling post-pandemic, who have mostly residential zoning and they don't have that extra tax base. So I think that mixture actually helps us, which I also think when you take a look at our financial outlook, and we look at that, we have a AA1 bond rating, which absolutely indicates that. That indicates our financial stability and our economic stability of the area. We do have a diverse tax base, and when you look at the tax base, that comes up at about 65% residential, 34% commercial, and 1% industrial. We are the third lowest municipal tax rate in the county. One of the things that we're looking to in the future is figuring out revenue sources, dedicated revenue for our capital program. So as I said, we are the third largest or the second largest landmass in the county. We have a lot of roads and a lot of capital items that need to be maintained. We have over 50 miles of roadway. We have buildings, we have parks, we have pickleball courts and trails, and all of these things need to be maintained. We own historic properties that we've been restoring over the years. So it's really important for us to be taking a look, particularly at that fund, as we've been now moved a lot from planning to doing and getting things done, like we just did with the restoration of the AME Church. We tend to use a lot of grant funding, which is wonderful, and we'll never stop applying. But eventually, we have years where we're not getting a lot of those grants. And our current capital program has over $5 million in projects, 60% of which is funded from grants. And we don't have, other than our savings and excess revenues in the general fund, that we use to fund our capital programs. So that is something we are really exploring in the future to make sure that we can maintain great infrastructure in our township, which has a lot to do with our everyday living. So it's extremely important. As far as council priorities, you guys talk about it. You can see it in our budget. You can see it in everything we do. You can see it in the awards we are winning. Council's priorities are with park programming, road maintenance, public safety, stormwater infrastructure, preservation, financial security, and expanding our public sewers. I think it's important just to keep those always at the forefront so folks know sort of what's on the agenda and why they're seeing certain things on the agenda when they come to our meetings or check us out online. Additionally, our sort of year in review, I'll hit very quickly. I know I don't want to be too long, but we have received awards. We received a governor's award this last year for local government excellence. We are partnering with our nonprofits. We are trying to elevate everybody. Our neighbors around us, we just got the 40th Bird Town, and you just said Bethel's behind us with maybe 41st or 42nd. Everybody, when you become the leader, everybody follows. So I think that's important to note. We also, again, we get a lot. We were awarded over $500,000 last year in grant monies for park planning and construction projects. Our Parks and Recreation under Director Steve Jacobs, they are doing amazing things, and Allison, they had held over 30 recreation events last year and over 2,000 residents. That's why, Team Toyota wants to support us and sponsor us. Everybody wants to be a part of the great things that we're doing. We've been collaborating with neighbors on various projects, including we hope to have a new Beaver Valley Neighborhood Small Children's Park, which we received grant money for. We're hoping that opens this summer. And we met multiple times with residents in that area to learn what they want and what they want to do. So I think it's great when we all collaborate. And speaking of collaborations, we collaborated with the Newland Gristmill on that regatta event we just got an award for, helped them raise $10,000 to support water quality, which helps all of us. We are lucky to have Newland Gristmill in our township. Other year in review, open space preservation, I talked about AME. We've been gifting every year at our Recycle Day events trees to folks. People love them. Some people just actually come to get a tree from us now. We gifted over 500 trees this last year. And actually our neighbors and surrounding townships are starting to actually do the same program again because we're leading the way in that. I think it's important that we all look at those initiatives. And then from an infrastructure perspective, every year we talk about our road program and we're trying to improve our roads. Obviously, that's a very costly venture. I think everybody understands that. Last year we did about 2.5 miles of roadway, which, doesn't maybe seem like a lot when we maintain 50, but is a lot. It's very expensive. That's about $500,000 worth of work. We repaired, our public works team has been elevating themselves and hiring skilled employees when we can. And we repaired over 40 stormwater inlets last year. That's a lot of work for a team of about 7 people. Additionally, we've been doing stream bank stabilization and our ARPA funds, which you can see now that we're working on. We're looking to continue in that path. The only other quick fact that I will say as I talk about our employees are wonderful. They are your neighbors, they are friends, they are easy to communicate with. We work really hard on trying to be that and making sure that when you walk in this building, your day is better. I can't say I can do that all the time for everyone, but for the most part, that's what we try to do. We have 36 full and part-time employees, and I am so grateful for every single one of them, and I'm grateful for council to have the opportunity to be your township manager and work in such a wonderful community. Thank you.
We'll see what they say in the papers tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, I forgot to mention earlier, but the council met in executive session regarding litigation prior to tonight's meeting. Next part of the agenda is citizen comment. Anybody with any comments on anything in the township or anything on the agenda, please come forward. Need your name and address, please. Thank you.
Ken Hempill, 39 Millrace Place. I was wondering if I could ask the trooper a question.
I don't see why not.
Trooper, are you aware of any statistically significant difference in accident totals between the lights that flash yellow in Middletown, Chester Heights, and Chadds Ford and Concord? Where?
Specifically the left turn arrow, the blinking arrow, at Donovan Drive. Are you familiar with that?
Where?
Chevy Thomas dealer is at Route 1 and Donovan Drive.
Yeah.
Rockwell, YMCA. Yes.
How many more accidents has there been?
They're actually going to have to do a study on that to make sure that that shouldn't be a red, yellow, and green light instead of just a left turn flashing yellow. Yes.
Is that true of all the intersections that flash yellow? Well, what about intersections like Powell Road and Route 1? Well, I'm just curious,
yeah.
like, we have to stop at Red Arrows in Concord, but not in Chadds Ford, Middletown, or Chester Heights, except for a couple of exceptions. And I'm just curious if there is a statistically significant difference in the number of accidents. Okay.
Okay.
Is there like a chart that state police keep that could be accessible by the public?
I'll tell you what, if you guys, is that your only question, Ken? Because then maybe you could sidebar with her
Okay.
afterwards.
I was curious too, like why Scott Road is being used as a cut through. Because if you're coming down Route 1, there's no reason to cut through. You would make a right on Concord Road. And if you're coming up Concord Road, you would make a right on Cheney Road.
I can't answer as to why, but obviously it is a problem. It's been a problem for years. I have to somewhat agree with you. It doesn't make any sense, but it is a problem. So,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thank you. Yes, sir.
Dennis Stefano, Bethel Road. Status on the Red Barn, is there any improvements going to be done? Is there anything in timeline, Amanda?
Sure. I mean, I can briefly, and Nate can even speak to that. So we actually had put together specs for, as part of our Bush Hill Farm master planning. The game plan for that building is basically to, I think the discussion is there's like a partial demolition and then potential like reskinning, like button that up. Am I saying that right in the contractor words? Sort of redoing the outside, the exterior, and buttoning that up. We've done interior improvements on the structure itself, although there's a demo that needs to be done as part of that. We had put that together and bid it actually 4 months ago or 5 months ago, and it was way high, like wild cost-wise, and we only had like 1 or 2 bidders. And we were trying to talk with some folks in the Lancaster area that potentially did some historic barn renovations. And we've been talking to several different contractors, hoping that it was a timing issue of when we bid it to see if we can get more bidders. So that's the goal. It is on the table. We actually have specs ready and a bid package ready. And it was us trying to figure out how we could handle that in a different outlet or another way, looking at it from a historical perspective to see if we could get some different folks involved.
Thanks.
Does that help? Thanks.
Karis, how'd you make out a Fresh Market the other day?
I like Fresh Market.
I know you do. We talked about that on the way in. But go ahead.
My favorite little market ever. And with 10 children, I've done a lot of shopping. So, two things. I wanted to thank Amanda for her great wrap-up, Concord Township. We're very glad we've lived here as long as we have. We were newcomers. I don't know that we'd yet be considered old-timers, but we've been here for almost 30 years now. So, and when we first moved here, there was no development allowed at the time. It was on hold, and so we've always referred to Concord Township to other people as the western frontier of Delaware County. That's the way we've described it to other folks.
The Wild Wild West, right?
And yesterday, March 4th, was the anniversary of William Penn's charter, which I'm sure you're aware of. A notable day to us all as Pennsylvanians, and especially to all Americans. It's also the date that's on the Bill of Rights. That was the first meeting of the new government under the Constitution in 1789. And so that's the date that's on the historic document of the Bill of Rights that was sent out to the states for ratification. And it says in the Congress assembled March 4th, 1789. They wrapped it up on September 25th and then sent it out to the states, but that's the date that's on the document. So March 4th is a good day. All of those things bring me to my current concern, which has been since I first attended as a watcher and observer, the return board after a countywide election. And I observed the very serious oath that each member of the return board takes. And I got to thinking about various things in Delaware County. So I made a trip to the Prothonotari's office to inquire about certain county officials, and some don't have oaths on office, on record. So that's a different project. More recently, I looked at the statutes regarding townships, and there are several sections of the Pennsylvania Code that regard the oath that is to be taken by every person elected or appointed to any township office before assuming the duties of office, both to take orally and to subscribe. That means to sign the document, and that document is to be filed with the township secretary before they assume the duties of the office. And that oath, for example, there was a reminder from the state that was issued on December 21st, 2021. Reminder, newly elected, re-elected township officials must take oath of office, which you've done that here. But it's not just the officials, it's also, for example, the county law stipulates that the elected officials, their deputies, their clerks, they're appointed, and the appointed officer is to take the oath. And I have met individuals at the courthouse who at one time, every individual hired in the county took an oath of office for their employment. I went on a little venture and went to a county job fair and just inquired. Now, it's my understanding that if I'm employed by the county, then I'm supposed to take an oath of allegiance. Oh, no, because we have employees that aren't even American citizens, and we can't expect them to take that oath. There was a time when Delaware County was required to hire within the county. And they ex post facto, the current county council changed that law ex post facto in the administrative code for the county. But anyway, a lot of these things I think have fallen by the wayside, but it is the state law, and I'll be glad to provide you with the sections. It may not be an issue here. I'm just telling you that it's a concern to me what I have discovered at a county level about the number of individuals who are running things that do not have an oath of office on file. And there's much more that could be said, but I'll just leave it right there for right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you could share that with Amanda, I think we'd find that interesting,
Okay.
from our perspective at least. Please,
Okay.
thank you. Anyone else? Jean? Here we go.
Jean Goebel, 7 Quaker Lane. Comments on Resolution 13, Concord Road North. Resolution talks about moving 10 of 11 properties previously on the 2019 Station Road Sewer to the 2024 Concord Road Sewer because it is more feasible. Is there any business case confirming that improved feasibility?
Pardon?
Is there any business case to confirm that improved feasibility?
Not that
Low
I'm
pressure.
aware of. It was the discussion of the SOAR committee and the engineers and everybody in attendance at those meetings that this was a more feasible option, and that's what we're proposing to do. And we'll be voting on later this evening.
So 10 of 11 properties are moving, one is staying on Station Road. What property would that be?
I don't have that, but we can get that information for you.
The appendix, the map, was not included in the public pack. It's my understanding before you vote on business, the public has the right to speak. And in order to speak, you need to see the document. Document's not available.
Are
to
you
the public.
talking Resolution 13?
Yes, I am.
I have a map attached to mine. I'm sure we can get that for you.
I got to have it before I speak, not after.
Okay.
You can't tell me
Well-
what the one, is it 7-Eleven that's staying on Station Road, I presume?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it, but let me check. Yeah, it's not. It's not in the shaded area as all the other properties.
So 7-Eleven will be the only property staying on Station Road.
Yes.
Will they be funding the entire $126,000, or will the community at large be eating those sunk costs?
I will have to get back to you on that.
Again, you shouldn't be voting on this if you don't have the answers.
Okay.
722 Concord Road has significant frontage on Station Road. It's one of the properties that's being moved. The owners of that property were here a year ago when you had the public, here comes Concord Road North. The owner expressed his concern and strong preference for a gravity connection instead of low pressure. But it appears he could have connected more easily to Station than 7-Eleven, and certainly would have been substantially cheaper to them. So it sort of throws out the more feasible off-the-cuff comment.
In your opinion,
No, it's not my opinion. He's bordering
Okay.
gravity, and the cost of the low-pressure pumps are substantial.
It is our intention to vote on this resolution tonight, and hopefully it will be approved. If you have any complaints with that later, I guess you'll have to handle it then. But this is what we're doing.
All right, Sunshine Act, you've got to let the public speak to what you're voting on, and you don't have the information available to the
Okay,
public in advance.
in your opinion.
But, okay,
Go ahead.
it's not my opinion. All right, so you don't know who's going to pay for Station Road. The 10 of the 11 properties that are moving to Concord Road North, are they paying for Concord Road North only and not for Station?
The resolution says that they will be in the service area for Concord Road North, yes.
2019 says they're in the service area of Station Road. So
But in this resolution, they are being pulled out of that area and being put in the new area.
all right, so we're just paying once, correct?
Pardon?
Paying just for Station Road North?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, last comment is I have lived off Scott Road for nearly 30 years, walk it on almost a daily basis. More times than not, I never see any cars.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
see
that's
any
why we're going to study the issue. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on in the agenda. The next item in the agenda is the consent agenda. See, I got all my stuff out of order here now. Okay, we have the following items. Number one, the approval of the council public meeting minutes of February 6, 2024. The following appointments: Fred Glessner to the Zoning Hearing Board, term to expire February 5th of 2029. Chip Price to the Zoning Hearing Board, reappointment, also expiring 2/5/29. Dana, we have some bills to pay.
Sure. Total expenditures is $977,008 and a penny. February payroll is $199,918.81. Current bills totaling $309,157.55, and our sewer bills totaling $467,931.65.
All right, Mr. Gillespie, I think we have some certificates of payment. There are also no financial releases or no advertisements for bids, so if you could also do the certificate of payments and the award of bids, please.
Thank you. McKinney Construction, certificate number 9 in the amount of $212,421.81. That consists of sewer work of $71,879, Chester Water Authority of $19,396, Township Water $18,941, Sewer Plant Water $11,774, On-Site Water for the main sewer plant $90,432. They all add up to the $212,421.81 figure. And as far as awards, we have a lawn care maintenance bid. 4 bids were received on February 29th. The low bidder is KMC. This is for a 3-year contract. The total would be $170,520.
Thank you. We have the following plans to accept as complete for filing. A conditional use application for 871 Baltimore Pike for a restaurant drive-through facility, and a land development application for 1110 Baltimore Pike, a car wash facility. These are properties on Baltimore Pike, going on the northbound lane, north of the Subaru dealership, basically on the hotel property. There are 2 pad sites there, and these are proposed developments for those sites. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
ARPA projects, Nate, do you have anything to update?
I think my update earlier suffices. There's additional information in the packet from the Township Treasurer as well.
Does anybody else have any questions for Nate regarding the ARPA project? Seeing none. Octorara Trail update, I guess Nate or Amanda or both?
Yes, I guess I had that update in my engineer's report. I apologize. I should keep those separate going forward, but yeah,
You got that
more
done?
news next month then.
Okay, anybody have any questions on the Octorara Trail? No? Okay, next is the authorized to execute the Pulte Pump Station Agreement. This is for a pump station that has been built on. Okay. Thank you. The state of Amanda. No, anyway. This is a pump station, will serve multiple properties projects as approved by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, including the affected project as depicted on the plan known as the Shops at Ridge Road Station Sewer Service Area. This pump station is servicing the newly constructed townhouses and the balance of the development at the old Chip and Putt parcel, if anybody remembers where that was. And also will be doing the, be able to handle capacity for the development of the site known as Shop at Ridge Road, which is basically being held up for other issues on Ridge Road and 202. It has been constructed. If you go by the Nissan dealership, you'll see it right there to the left of it if you're facing the dealership. So do we have a motion to execute this pump station agreement?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'd like the record to reflect that I filled out the properly forms, that I will recuse myself from that vote since it has something to do with the Shops at Ridge Road, and I've recused myself from all those votes for the last 10 years. Next is to Resolution 13 of 2024. It's a resolution establishing the Special Purpose Facilities Area known as the Concord Road North Sewer Project Facilities Area for the purpose of calculating, imposing, and assessing upon the special purpose part of the Concord Township tapping fee only upon those properties located in the project facility area. The Township adopted Resolution 23 of 2019 for Station Road Service Area, which included 11 properties on Concord Road and Quaker Lane. The Station Road Service Area contemplated as a gravity sewer to service all properties in the Station Road Service Area, whereas the Township decided a more feasible option to provide cost-effective sanitary sewer to 10 of the 11 properties in Station Road Service Area would be to provide a low-pressure system. Now therefore be it resolved that the initial cost of said construction and installation of the Concord Road North Sewer Project have been borne entirely by the Township. Further resolved that 10 of the 11 properties on Station Road Service Area are hereby removed from the Station Road Service Area and added to the Concord Road North Project Area. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution 14 regards the same project, and it sets the tapping fee. Now therefore be it resolved that the total cost of construction for the Concord Road Sewer North Project has been calculated to be $836,835. Therefore, each of the properties located within the Concord Road North Sewer Project facilities areas assessed and shall pay the special purpose part of the township tapping fee in the amount of $9,100 per property. Further be it resolved that the capacity part of the township tapping fee for vacant residential building lots, commercial and/or industrial property is currently $5,889 per equivalent dwelling unit, and those properties shall also have to pay that fee. So the vacant lots and the commercial buildings have to pay the EDU plus the tapping fee. The residential properties only have to pay the tapping fee at the time of connection. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next is Resolution 15 of 2024, final land development, extra space storage, which is at the corner of Namens Road and 202, correct? Nate, do you
Correct,
have
yeah.
something you can show us on that, please?
Yeah, Amanda's pulling up the plan. I'll briefly explain the project. I think everybody's familiar with the existing storage facility site on the southeast corner of 202 and Namens Creek Road. This project specifically, as she flips to maybe the next sheet or two, this shows the existing site. And essentially what's happening here is on the Namens Creek side of the site, they've acquired the properties adjacent, and they'll be constructing approximately 36,000 square foot additional storage, essentially in the wooded area there on the right-hand side of the plan. So let me just keep flipping through there. You can pull up that if you want, that's easier. This project did receive 4 variances from the zoning hearing board last year regarding the self-storage facility, its operation, parking, and similar. Additionally, the Planning Commission recommended approval, including 4 waivers. The waivers are regards to having this be a joint preliminary final submission, as well as 3 various waivers related to existing trees, tree coverage, and similar. In all 3 waiver requests, Tom Comita, our consulting landscape architect, is recommending approval of the waivers. They get a little bit technical, just specificity on where things are being planted and some math things, but Tom was able to recommend those waivers. Additionally, this site will have some sidewalk and crosswalk extensions, so the entire perimeter of the site will have sidewalk, so we'll be expanding the pedestrian network in the vicinity as we look to continue to connect down towards the national park in the southwest quadrant of the township. This has been reviewed by all the township staff, consultants, and the county. And again, the Planning Commission has recommended approval at their meeting back in February.
Okay. Any questions or observations before we try the resolution? John, you have anything?
Yeah, just with regard to the architectural elevations and noting in Tom Comita's letter, he does note that this should go before the Design Review Committee, and he believes that the building should be, the elevation should be adjusted for some more articulation. And we recently did that with the extra space storage facility that is being built on 202 South. Also extra space storage, and I think that we achieved a higher level of design there than we are seeing here, not only in the building elevations themselves, but even things down to changing the color of the green doors for the doors that face the roadways. So I know that Tom's letter is part of, as a condition of this approval, and so this will go before the Design Review Committee, but I would note those are my concerns that still need to be ironed out.
Okay. Anyway, we'll take, I guess you guys are from them, right? Extra space? Yeah.
Yes, good evening. You guys are on such a good roll, I didn't want to break up. So,
No, you don't,
Andrew Stahl, attorney.
don't mess up the mojos. I just said hello. You didn't have to get up. All right?
Your name again?
Andrew Stahl, attorney for the applicant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's Resolution 15 of 2024, which is a preliminary final subdivision and land development, extra space storage, 199 Wilmington, Westchester Pike. Approved subject to the following 16 conditions, and as Nate mentioned, there are 4 waivers. The conditions are as follows. 1, compliance with Pannoni's letter dated February 9th, 2022, which is attached as an exhibit. HRG's letter dated February 9th, 2024, which is also attached as an exhibit. Thomas Comita Associates letter, last revised February 6, 2024, and as referenced by Mr. Crossan, also attached as an exhibit. Fire Marshal email dated February 7th, 2024, again attached. Township Historical Commission email dated October 27th. All these are attached. Delaware County Planning Commission letter dated October 20th, 2023. Number 7, developer agrees to all conditions outlined in the zoning hearing board's decision and order dated April 9th, 2023, again attached as an exhibit. Number 8, applicant must receive additional special exception approval from the zoning hearing board regarding the proposed existing parking spaces located within the front yard setback of the current site per the zoning officer's email dated February 21st of 2024. Number 9, recording of the stormwater operation and maintenance agreement as well as contribution to the Municipal Stormwater Control and BMP Operation and Maintenance Fund in the amount of $13,374. Number 10, submission of a fee in lieu providing for open space in the amount of $12,650 as per Resolution 5 of 2024. Number 11, submission of color architectural elevation and color board materials for review and approval by council prior to the release of the signed plan. Approval of the elevations and materials for the building shall be obtained prior to the issuance of any building permits. All building improvements are to be constructed as per the approved architectural elevations, including screening of any rooftop mechanical equipment. Number 12, developer enters into a development improvement and security agreement prior to the release of the final plans. 13, developer agrees that any future buildings or expansions will require land development and/or zoning hearing board approval. 14, lighting and landscaping must be maintained per recorded plan and replaced in kind as needed. Any substitutions are subject to the approval of the township. 15, plans are to be submitted in electronic format acceptable to the township engineer. 16, signed, sealed surveyor certification, placement, monuments, and pins must be filed with the township prior to recording the signed plans. It's also subject to the following 4 waivers. 169I1 to permit a joint preliminary final subdivision. 16049B to permit the removal of over 20% of the existing tree mass on the site. 16049C to permit the removal of greater than the permitted amount of notable trees on the site. And 160-50D to permit less than the required amount of building foundation plantings. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution 15 of 2014?
I so moved.
2024. Damn, Amanda. You wrote 14 on mine, just to mess me up. Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Any questions?
Second.
Yeah, one quick question. Looking at this, the header is calling for a preliminary final subdivision and land development. And we have a condition, number 8, that the applicant must receive additional special exception approval from the zoning hearing board. I guess my concern is how can we approve it if they still need the special exceptions?
So, yeah, that was unfortunately, that was just picked up in the past couple weeks by our code officer. Essentially, the parking that's proposed along the existing storage facilities. So what happened was we had some parking towards the rear of the building and the proposed building, but for fire vehicle access and various other kind of landscaping screen reasons, the proposed parking shifted to in front of the existing building. There was sort of an initial interpretation that there might have been an existing nonconformity. Unfortunately, the zoning officer confirmed that that is something that needs a variance from the zoning hearing board that was not addressed at the previous zoning hearing board. So our hope was we could do that concurrently prior to getting these plans recorded.
Okay, but so I'm clear on this. If the way it reads now is then that parking cannot exist there unless they go to the zoning hearing board.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's your opinion, Nate, that we can act on this?
Yes, I think what we'll do is certainly would not authorize recording these plans until that issue is resolved either via the zoning hearing board or modification to these plans.
Okay.
A question for the developer. Some of Tom Comita's notes regarding the architectural elevations for this new building, the developer's response is that there's a bit of resistance or hesitancy on your part because you want to maintain consistency with the existing buildings. Are there any plans as part of the development of this new building to update the facades of the old building, particularly the facade fronting 202?
Your name, please?
Hi, my name is Matt Landro, Bowler Engineering, civil engineer for the project. Any other work outside of what you see on the plans for this new building is not proposed at this time, so we are not proposing any, call it a refresh or a redesign of any of the existing structures out there. We have an architectural board, and Nate just pulled up the plan showing the proposed structure, which is going to be consistent with those existing structures. So that's really the architectural intent to match.
Yeah, I guess what I'm just saying is I think that existing, I think this existing structure has room for improvement and is not consistent with the level of architectural design that we look to see now in the township, that we are approving now, even though obviously it was approved previously. And so that is the spirit behind which Tom made those comments. And I think that there is, in order to go through the design review committee process, I think there will be some requests that not only the new building elevate its look, but to be in line with the other buildings, they may need to be elevated as well, particularly on 202. So it's not it's more of an informational point for you, but I think an important point for you to know.
Okay.
Understood, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck with your project. Next is Resolution 16 of 2024. Amanda and Nate, this has to do with the proposed roundabout over on Smith Bridge and Temple and Kirk. And I think what this is going to do is allow the township, if we own any of the parts that are adjacent to it that are required for easements for construction, that we would have the right to give them to PennDOT or whoever.
Correct. We're essentially waiving, the appraisal and the fee portion because we own the properties.
So it's just basically a housekeeping issue to keep the thing
Correct.
moving forward.
At a later point, there'll be some additional documentation.
Okay.
But this just gets the ball rolling.
Okay.
But why do we want to waive reimbursement for the, would we not want?
It's reimbursement to ourselves.
Reimbursement to ourselves. We would be paying ourselves because we have to provide all the easements.
This is not in regards to private properties or other properties,
Yeah.
just township.
Okay, Resolution 16 of 2024, Smith Bridge Corridor Transportation Improvement Project Execution of Agreements for Right-of-Way Acquisition or Donation. And it basically covers the intersection as previously recited. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thought I lost you down there, Larry.